All right, welcome back to the Buzz, everybody. It's Old Town Mariposa 2.0. Let's get Bob Borchard in here. Bob, you're back.
I'm back.
You're back, and who'd you bring with you now?
What did you think of those commercials, huh?
I think it looks like we had a lot of fun up in Mariposa.
Anyway, Adonia
Ripple, how are you? Thank you for coming to the Buzz.
Adonia is with the Yosemite Conservancy. You know, I make jokes about, by the way, Yosemite's right up the road. It's a much closer relationship in our town between Yosemite and the town. And this is the Old Town Mariposa show, but Yosemite is a big part of our community, and it's a big part of our lives when we live up there. Yosemite is our backyard, and we are pretty intimate with it. And Adonia with the Conservancy plays a really big role with what that park's all about. And so I thought it would be fun to bring her up here and have her tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Conservancy and its role in the park.
Well, what is a Conservancy and what does it do?
It's a great question. We have a very long history in the park, actually. Founded in 1923 as Yosemite Museum Association. Basically the first park partner to help raise outside money to build the museum in Yosemite Valley, and it has since grown from there. Philanthropy has always played a large role in national parks, and we are passionate about providing for the future of Yosemite. We inspire people to support projects and programs within the park that preserve and protect the landscape for future generations and enrich the visitor experience. So it's a
now the Conservancy. You said it's philanthropists or what funds you?
Yes, our
That's
donors.
amazing,
Our donors.
right?
It's amazing. We have over 45,000 donors that support this
But
organization.
now what kind of dollars are we talking about here?
So that's a great question. Most donors are actually fairly $250
Modest, right?
modest
Yeah.
donors. It's built from. Most people are giving $200 or less. Of course, there are also major donors as well. But we provide, this year our gift to the park will be $10.8 million. So it is significant contribution.
That is just so cool. And it's also cool knowing that you guys, as far back as 1923, found that this was a very important thing to do.
It is. If you look at the history of the national parks, philanthropies played a really key role. You think of the Rockefellers, and in fact, the first philanthropist in Yosemite was Frederick Law Olmsted, who paid out of his own pocket for a boundary survey of the park. So it really is goes hand in hand with creating that margin of excellence within the park.
A boundary survey of the park. What are the boundaries of the park?
That's such a good question. So the park now basically holds two watersheds, so the Tuolumne River watershed and the Merced River watershed. So it really was drawn along the crest of all those mountains at the beginning of those two major watersheds. So, yeah.
Amazing.
There's some, what the money is being used for and what it's doing is really the amazing story here. You had a picture here of me with my son earlier, but there are some really important restoration work going on right now in the park, and the master plan. And I was a planning director in Mariposa when this master planning process was started almost 37 years ago, and it's still working its way through the system. But there have been changes going on, and the Conservancy and other support groups for the park have done major things in terms of enhancing the visitor experience in Yosemite. And that's what maybe you could talk about.
Can you tell us anything that's happening in the near future in the park?
Certainly, and I can speak too about the enriching the visitor experience part, because that's actually a big part of my role. I oversee all our in-park programs, so we run an art program, a theater program, outdoor adventures, a big volunteer program. We help administer the wilderness permits and run a number of bookstores within the park, all aimed at really enriching their visitor experience, creating that connection to the place, so that people will fall deeper in love with Yosemite and continue to foster that.
Now,
spirit.
when we talk
these
about
art programs and things,
We have a visit, well, we're on the subject of visitor experience. We have this video, and I really want to show it to people.
Okay.
And about the kids. Can we?
Yes.
Okay,
There's
but let's get back to this art program that you're talking about. Now, for me, I go up there for the day with the family. We drive around, we see as much as we can. But there's families coming from all over the world having extended vacations up there.
Yeah.
And so these are things that some of the kids can do while they're there?
Kids and adults, actually. And, you know, when you come into the park, it's really hard not to encounter the work of Yosemite Conservancy, from meeting up with a volunteer in the booth to taking an art class, visiting the theater. They're all very family-friendly activities. We do custom adventures with families, so walking out with a naturalist to really get a deeper understanding of the park. A lot of activities we can do.
This is,
Yes, so here's
This
a
is
video about some of the work the Conservancy is supporting, helping connect youth with the park.
Yeah, this program has changed my life and my viewpoints about these places, these natural places.
I honestly will probably remember this for the rest of my life, and I know the peers and I have been changed by this experience.
I mean, it honestly did change my life.
I just became a whole, like, happier, stronger person than what I was when I came here.
So the Youth in Yosemite programs are vital to Yosemite and the youth who participate in them, because today so many of our youth in our communities and our country and internationally are disconnected from nature. The only way that places like Yosemite and public lands will thrive in the future is through opportunities for youth to become connected to them. They're the next leaders, they're the next constituents, the voters, the managers, the superintendents, the biologists, the educators. They are the next generation. And these programs help to make meaningful and lifelong connections for youth to places like Yosemite.
When I look at some of the young people that you see again years later, and they tell you how important that experience was, you find that you're not just think you're doing good work, but you really are doing the good work. And I can honestly say that without Yosemite Conservancy, none of these programs would exist.
I would like to say thank you to all of the people who have found it in their heart to give to this place and to the people who are going to be caring for it one day.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I really thank you for supporting this program and making it possible.
I'm extremely thankful, and these are tears of joy.
I would just say thank you so much. And honestly, I don't think you could give anybody a greater gift.
now isn't that cool?
Wow. Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Did you feel
Hard
it?
not
Do
to
all
feel
you
it.
guys right now want to go up to Yosemite like I do? Wow.
It's connecting with something that's just huge.
It's much bigger than all of us.
And
Do you live up there year round?
I do, yes. I live in El Portal.
How-
It's
how-
nice to
how
see that
lucky
place
are
in
you,
all those
right?
seasons. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you very much
pleasure.
for coming
Yeah.
up here and talking to
Yeah.
us. You'll come back and see us?
It would be great.
You
Yes.
better bring her back, Bob.
I will.
Now, there's some
we
other,
have a lot of things we have
there's
to
some
talk
things
about.
going on in Mariposa this weekend that we want to talk about. One of them is the football team. How they doing?
They're being really rowdy out there. They're running over their opposition. The scores are just phenomenal, 50-12 kind of things. I mean,
It's a lopsided affair.
It's a lopsided affair, but they're going to run into a tough time. This weekend they're playing Delhi. It's an away game. But for people who can't get out of town, we have Friday Night Lights going on in Mariposa with, and that's going to be amplified with the car show. But the big show, the really big show, you probably remember Les Marsden.
I love Les Marsden.
Les Marsden is having his coming out for a 2014 party down up at the auditorium. We're not going to do this at the fairgrounds this time. We're going to come out at the auditorium.
At the high school?
At the Mariposa High School.
Nice.
And his symphony orchestra. It's the first of their concerts this year. Starts at 7 o'clock. And if you're up in our part of the country, this is a phenomenal orchestra, symphony orchestra. The only symphony orchestra that exists in the United States for a town with only 1,500 people in it. So
Awesome.
this is it's going to be a big show.
Congratulations again to Les. He just does an amazing job up there.
He does, and he's going to be back. We're going to be talking about some other things that's going on. But
Well, if Les Marsden's going to be here, you and I won't be talking very much, will we?
I intend to do a lot of listening when Les is around.
Unavoidable. Okay. All right. Adonia, thank
Yes,
you very
yes,
much
thank
for
you.
coming
It
by.
was a pleasure to
Bobby,
to be on
you're
the
better
show.
there. I'll see you next week when we
Next
take
week.
another trip up to Old Town Mariposa.
And I have some great things coming up for you.
Stick around. We'll be right back on
And
the
we're
bus.
going to talk about this a little bit